I'm going to discuss how and why she questions every move we make. Now, I understand that you're probably confused because that's not how it started. In fact, she probably called you a king at the start of the relationship. It's like she was playing she was saying the right things. It was all falling in line. She was passing all your tests. So how is it that you're now married and you're now going through this thing where your leadership is being questioned every single time you take a turn or disagree with something that she doesn't agree with, right? Well, this is what I'm going to do for you, right? So in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the exact moment she stopped playing the role that you ideally wanted her to play. And more importantly, how to reclaim your leadership so that you escape this, I like to call it manipulation loop, right? Or end up retreating, because that's probably the best thing you could do for yourself. See, we're in a society that glamorizes everyone some way, somehow becoming this nice Prince Charming and then meeting this beautiful, kind-hearted queen who basically no one does any harm. We're forgetting that human nature has made us sinners from the very jump. As if we were sinners by birth. Doesn't cross anyone's path. As long as you're a good person, you're going to meet another good person and everything is going to go smoothly from there. That's the first mistake you could ever make. Think that human beings are just good. You want to understand, this is what I understood when I integrated myself. The person that's just good hasn't integrated themselves. Why? Because they don't understand how to utilize or control their evil nature. And I wouldn't necessarily say it's evil. I would say it's dark. It's your assertiveness, it's your ability to hunt, it's your ability to make difficult decisions. If you don't have that in you, I cannot trust you. If you don't have the ability to protect yourself, if you don't have the ability to stand up for yourself, what that tells me is that you're suppressing, and one day you're going to explode. And I won't be there to see what that looks like. So, in order for you, however, to recognize this firsthand, you need to integrate yourself first. And I'm not talking about, this is the problem. We were taught to run away from pain. No one tells us to embrace pain. They've turned healing into this crusade where it's beautiful. You go to Bali or all these retreats, and then you get to sit next to birds and you hear the chip and then the nice Zen meditation sound, and you're just like, I'm healing, I'm relaxing. No. The true healing is you looking at your old self and going to war with him. You saying to your old self, you've got to go, you got to die. It's been real. That's the true transformation. And no one told you. And if you're interested in doing that, I'm actually a men's coach. And I teach the people that work with executives, musicians, high caliber men, exactly how to do that. So if you're interested, the link is in the description, and I'll see you soon. But the truth of the matter is that we fall for the branding, okay? We fall for the idea that some way, somehow, we're going to meet this perfect person and everything is just going to be smooth sailing from there. Which is quite funny, because if you're watching this channel, you're probably into entrepreneurship or business, or you've got a good side. My point is this: you understand that you have to be prepared for both the good and the bad. That's the whole point of seasons. This kind of takes me to, this is why I need to start doing videos early, because I've actually got a lot more energy when I do it on time. But this takes me to what the Jews were doing, right? So I was watching, for a while, studying Jews, and one of the things that came to my attention is that when they get money, they don't spend it. And I'm used to doing that. As soon as I get a paycheck, bills, maybe a little takeaway, this, that, something nice, right? But that's not what the Jews do. The Jews get paid, and then what they do with that money is that they prepare themselves for the rainy season. So, in other words, they assume that that could be the last paycheck they're getting. And because they assume it that way, that money now has to work for them just in case no more money comes in. And I find that concept so powerful because you can apply it when it comes to this too. Instead of hoping for your perfect scenario, no, think of the worst case scenario. What happens then? Have you seen her true colors? And can you handle them? You haven't, but you want to make the decision to commit. How are you going to do that? And if she's not showing you, is it because she's not in control of them or she pretended? Because we're human beings. You can't control your emotions. You can't. You can't control what comes at you. Right? You just can control how you decide to handle them, how you decide to lead yourself right through them. That's what I talk about all the time. So I need you to begin to see that you were hoping she would change, but she actually never changed. And because you failed to see that this was a test that she ended up having you play instead, you're now sitting wondering, where did I go wrong? Understand something? She didn't evolve. She just got comfortable enough to rebel. And this is why it's key for you to understand the value frame that I talk about all the time. Number one, value alignment. Are you guys going to the same place? And this should be a conversation that has non-commitment. I've had that conversation so many times. Prior to me getting married, the very first question I asked anyone that I was dating, once things started to eventually turn around and I was getting at least a date or 2 or 3 a week, the simple question would be this: where are you going? You don't know. Neither do I. We're done. Where are you going? I'm gonna go. I want to stay in the UK for 10, 20 years. I want to stay close to family. Good luck. I wish you the best. Where are you going? Oh, I want to go to America. Good luck. Where are you going? It was that simple. That value alignment was probably one of the first questions I'd ask. And the reason why I'd ask that is because I just didn't have time. I wasn't interested. I'd had fun. Okay? So I was in a phase where I was looking for someone to align. And the answer to alignment is, this is where I'm going. Oh, wow, I'm going there too. So in other words, I'm not trying to persuade you to align with where I'm going. You were going there anyway. Number 2, accountability. When someone's able to look at a situation and polarize it, that means they've taken a side. Accountability in that is the ability to look at the other side and acknowledge there is another side. Because like you probably know, if you watch my channel, you may probably watch the likes of Myron Golden and other people, but one of the things he always says is, every truth is a half truth. So in other words, stop taking sides. There's no sides, because one truth is truth and so is the other truth. But I don't want to get into the universal laws and all of that stuff. Let's just stick to what we know. Then leadership, right? Now, the best way to control and protect your leadership is by doing this. Don't test her based on the things that, what's the word? You're both going to agree on, right? You're not going to be able to see your leadership. Your leadership is tested when she's doing something that she doesn't want to do, but she has to do now for the needle to move forward. So in other words, is her following you when she doesn't want to. And if you're not capable of testing that, if you're not capable of disappointing her in a way that kind of like forces her to make a decision, not necessarily in a negative way, but you're just seeing what the reaction would be, because humans disappoint, right? So you're just seeing, how does she react to me disappointing her? And that's how you test the leadership. You don't test it by doing everything she freaking wants and being scared of losing her. I don't know how you got that, but I'm here to shift the parameters so you don't make the same mistake. Okay, so that's how you test leadership. And she do something that she doesn't want to do because I'm asking her to do it. And of course, in order for you to do that, you need to be someone that's leading themselves. I'm not going to try to persuade you or help you think that, oh yeah, you're the guy that she needs to follow blindly. No. You need to know where you're going. And that's why I value alignment first anyway. Well, after leadership, we've got unhealed trauma. How did she deal with her unhealed trauma? Has she been to therapy? Is she taking active steps towards learning how to cope with them, with any issues? And before I say anything, listen, I need you to understand the degree of people that have been traumatized by the previous generation is insane. So I need you to assume that it is, and look, 4 agreement says it. Do not assume, do not take anything personal, mean what you say, and I can't remember the 4th one, but I get it. We know that we should not assume. First, in this case, scenario though, I beg you to make an assumption. You need to understand what patterns. If you're not gonna assume that they have trauma, then you need to understand what patterns you're facing, because I'm here to tell you, the face, the personality, that's all great. And what's crazy is some of you use that as barometer or state joint to make your clear decision. I'm here to tell you that what matters is the patterns. You're not marrying a person, you're marrying her patterns, you're marrying her character. And that's what you're passing on to your children. So until you understand the character and patterns you're dealing with, do not make a move. So unhealed trauma, we can switch it up with patterns. Understand the patterns that you're dealing with and what active steps have been taken to handle them. And just to make it deeper, right? Some of you may wonder, why do you share so much insight? Like, I'm sure you've paid for this stuff. You've watched 300 videos trying to understand all of this stuff. 300 videos. I wish I've got a playlist right now that's got 750. But you've studied this stuff, right? You've read 300 books plus. You're constantly trying to add more value to us. Why? It's simple. 5% of your conscious brain is what most of you operate on. And when I say most of you, I mean 90% of humanity. The next 95 is what you need to worry about, because that's what's really in control. The 5 is just, listen, like I said, for me, it was repetition that changed things. It wasn't the amount of knowledge. The amount of knowledge is great. It just gives me more awareness. What changes things, what changes my habits, is the consistent repetition of certain things happening. You guys are dealing with 50, 30, 40 plus year habits. And what they say to these 40, 30 plus habits is, instead of taking an aggressive approach to working towards trying to figure out a way to fix these things, what we say is, New Year's resolution, I'll figure this thing out. Our self-image hasn't changed, our standard hasn't changed, you're not gonna change. You're gonna relapse. It's not even up for discussion. I'm sorry. Right? But like I said, I don't want to get into the universal laws. So, what happened is this, right? She gave you peace until she got what she wanted. Why? Because you didn't check for the ulterior motives that she could potentially have. And I'm not saying she's an evil person, by the way. I'm saying she outsmarted you, because you just saw what you wanted to see. That's a bar, write that down. I can't say it. You saw what you wanted to see. I'm going to say that again. You didn't see the concerns. You didn't look at it in a full-blown picture because you were in love. You saw an angel sent from the sky asking, where have you been? I've been struggling. And now you're here and you're here to solve all my problems. Hallelujah. You didn't see that there was a plan behind it because you didn't look at the full picture. I wonder what she could benefit from this. I wonder what situation I could get myself into to potentially understand the true nature she's in. And I'll tell you this, I only know this because the most recent, is it the recent heartbreak? I think the most recent heartbreak, yeah. I found out there and then that the reason why she met me in the first place is because she was interested in someone else. The moment I understood that is the moment I understood I don't ever think I could ever get played like that again. I need to know A, B, C, and look at the full picture. I don't care who it is, my wife, no way. I need to know what I'm getting myself into, not based on what they tell me, because they will only tell me what they believe I should hear. So what I need to see is the full picture based on what I observe. I hope you're getting my point here. So it's not about what they tell you, it's about what you observe, what you see quietly. You observe, you observe to look for the patterns, because the patterns are subconscious. They can't be calculated, because like I said, most humans, unless you're dealing with a superhuman being, you'll be fine. Once you see the patterns, whatever they say is great. Look at the patterns. The dangerous thing you can do is respond to this thing by pretending that you're okay with it. The moment the mask slips, the moment the respect leaves the relationship, my friend, that relationship is in danger. And I have an unpopular opinion in regards to this, but I believe 100% that the moment your wife stops respecting you, or your partner stops respecting you, that relationship has it's got a deadline, for sure. And the only reason why I say that is because I've seen what a lack of respect in a relationship does. It gets you to overperform where you shouldn't. It gets you to ignore content. It gets you to do the things that you know you shouldn't be doing. It gets you to overextend just to keep someone smiling. And so it gets you disrespected. Because you staying there is costing you every single time. It's like having your bank account on overdraft and then them deducting interest rate every single day you spend with them. And the interest rate is what, £10 a day. 6 months in, you're going to be in a debt, and you're going to be tired, and you're going to be frustrated, and you're going to get the people calling you up asking you, where's the money? Where's my energy coming back? Oh, you're draining me too now. So it's not just you draining yourself, you're now, as you go around different people, you're draining them too, because you couldn't learn how to protect your self-respect. Your self-respect, listen, self-respect in a relationship is life. It's like the tree of life. The more you guys nurture each other's respect, the more that relationship thrives. Guaranteed. One thing that can nurture that relationship is your ability to look out for each other's respect. Represent your wife properly. Husband and wife, represent your husband properly. And watch how that thing flourishes. You don't say disrespectful things to each other. You protect each other's boundaries. Right? You see, when you now start doubting your leadership because she's testing you, you're now reacting to her response and you're no longer leading. And I need you to understand, and I made a video on this, if your leadership is dependent on how she reacts to it, then you're not leading. You're just managing her reactions. Real leadership is anchored, is protected, backed by the core values, and it extends into allowing yourself and whoever you're with to take steps towards the vision, the aligned goal. And you can only do that once you understand where you stand, where your core values stand, and where you're heading. These are the 3 pillars, right? You don't fall to your stand, you don't fall to your goals, you fall to your stand. You probably heard this before. And the truth of the matter is that unless you raise your standard, the moment you sense this fight back and forth going, you raise your standard, you say, listen, babe, I appreciate you, I love you, but this is what we're not going to do. I don't want us to undermine each other. I want us to build a healthy environment. If you've got kids, obviously add the kids, because again, whatever they do will be based on what you show them. All right. So these are the 5 signals that she never believed in you. These 2 cases. Number 1 is based on her actually respecting you and potentially testing your leadership. So hopefully it's not as bad as the second one. The second one is there's genuinely a plan for her to literally potentially self-sabotage you because she wanted nothing to do with you in the first place. And these are the 5 signs you need to look out for if it's the latter. Number 1, she agrees publicly or resents privately. And every single time you guys are having something that she disagrees, 100%, yeah, I don't respect what you've just said. Number 2, she delays your request, okay? And then always kind of like blames your tonality, like your tonality is always a problem. And this is even when you didn't really say anything too bad. Number 3, she undermines your leadership to others. This one's dangerous. Number 4, she weaponizes softness to avoid accountability. Now, if you've done the value thing that I mentioned, you probably wouldn't even have this issue. But if you haven't and you're in a relationship and you notice this, you're in trouble, right? You've got the narrative changing where you were the king and then you now have gone into being someone that's changed. It's different now, right? And I need you to understand that real submission cannot be faked. And if her respect was conditional, then she was never following you. What was happening is that she was testing to see if you're worthy enough to be someone that can align to what she wants and where she wants to go, which has nothing to do with her being willing to submit. So, what I want you to do, right, if you're in this position, stop managing her. Stop managing her emotion and start leading yourself. I've got this recalibrate, rebuild, reclaim framework that I use with my clients that I recommend you use as well. And what it's basically about is understanding that you need to build a system, right? That I'm a Christian, right? So I'm going to use Proverbs 31. So Proverbs 31 discusses, I'll probably put a video somewhere, women of virtue, someone that every man should strive to have in their life, right? You want to build a life based on aligning with that person. As in, you want to be able to make it impossible for anyone else to fit that description except for the Proverbs 31 woman. So that's your template. And that's the life you've built. You've built a life that only allows a Proverbs 31 woman to come into it. If she's not a Proverbs 31 woman, then you have nothing to do with her. Which is how it should be. And a lot of people ask me, why didn't you talk about women? That's because, listen, we only deal with Proverbs 31 women. I don't deal with no Jezebels. Do you understand? I don't need to discuss people that were designed to be how they wanted to be. I only speak to men who want to rise, and I only speak to women who are Proverbs 31 women. If you're not a Proverbs 31 woman, respectfully, I can't help you, I don't want to help you, and nor do I care about you. I'm married, I don't care. I don't need to change women. But guess what? I've got a daughter. So if I help you and you raise a son and the son is raised on the core values that allow him to actually become a man, I've got more chances at my daughter or my family or my little niece at finding someone that's of caliber. So yeah, it's selfish. Maybe, but not really. But you get the gist. But listen, I need you to understand that once you basically need to build a fortress. A fortress is built of strengthening your nervous system. So imagine you're now trying to increase your capacity, okay, of managing your emotions. You do that by creating a frame within your nervous system that allows them to navigate accordingly and place themselves in the right corners, in the amygdala, in this space or in that space, in the prefrontal cortex, and all these beautiful spaces. My point is this: strengthen your nervous system, sleep, health, meditate, clearing your head, but most importantly, understanding was made it foggy and unclear for you to put it in order. This is exactly what I help you do. I'm not necessarily a magician. I just remove the things that are stopping you from organizing and bringing that clarity you need. Right, so if this video has been of value to you, I want you to do one thing, all right? I've been posting content regularly, and I've never asked for anyone, except for, of course, you wanted to work with me and book a call. But I've just finished reading The Future Is You, and cut long story short, I basically need to start asking you guys for some real stuff. Guys, please subscribe. If you're watching this stuff and you're not subscribing, honestly, it's hurting me more than you know. I've been posting religiously valuable content, okay? And I need your help in it coming across and being passed on to the right people. So this has been added value to you. Please share with someone that needs to hear this, or subscribe, drop a comment. Let me know that I'm doing something right. Especially if it's added value. If it's not added value, please don't even bother, right? I'll work on becoming a better video producer, whatever you call it, okay? But if it has, you know what to do, all right? So guys, thank you again for watching. And I'm gonna have to add that as well. Thank you for staying to the end if you have, because that means a lot for my watch time hours. I'm very close to being monetized. This has been a very big dream as a 12-year-old kid. Not even 12-year-old, there's a 12-year-old or 10, 11. But when I wanted to record my first video. And again, I didn't, but I am here now. So guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.